Good day, SMB Nation. Harry Brailsford here with another of our industry conversations, and I have GoDaddy today. So Greg Goldfarb from GoDaddy is going to tell us about some recent developments on their side of the aisle. So Greg, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Great. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Where are you located? Are you in Phoenix or the Bay Area, or what part of GoDaddy?
I'm in the Bay Area, based out of our Sunnyvale location.
Okay, okay, great. And I believe GoDaddy's had some increased or enhancements to the marketplace. Why don't we start with that? What's news? What's news with the GoDaddy marketplace?
Yeah, so we just announced a couple things in the area of enabling online sellers to reach consumers on marketplaces.
Okay,
One is we are now through our online store enabling e-commerce users to not only sell on their site but also easily list products on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Jet.com, and Walmart. And beyond list products for sale and have an easier time merchandising them, we're also now enabling them to see all their orders in one place across those channels and keep inventory in sync. So it's a major new capability in the world of e-commerce, to enable people to sell on all these marketplaces where
yeah.
now over 50% of all transactions are occurring.
I was gonna say no. It's definitely got the hot hand. Curious if are you integrating with the taxation and compliance with the likes of Avalara, or do you provide a vehicle for people to make sure that they pay their taxes from these transactions? I realize it's not your responsibility. I'm just wondering if you have that functionality.
We we um, we enable people to set up their own tax rates, and manage that on their own sites. As far as the way taxes work on the marketplaces, at this stage, we're really reliant with how the marketplaces are managing that through
Okay.
their payments flow.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. And then I think you had other news that there's been an acquisition. Tell
Yeah.
me, give me the good stuff here.
Yeah, so we see this as a major use case for customers, to enable them to be successful. And at the end of the day, GoDaddy's overall mission is to enable people with new ideas and small businesses to be
Yep.
successful online. So to drive the strategy, we've acquired a company called Sellbrite,
Okay.
which has historically been one of the top multi-channel applications across the e-commerce ecosystem. So we had partnered with them to develop our initial integration for GoCentral Online Store, and that was going really well, and we're seeing great initial customer uptake. And so we decided jointly that becoming part of GoDaddy made a ton of sense, and we're excited about what's to come.
So maybe last question I can think of is can you maybe paint a picture of a couple of different marketplace customer personas, not necessarily the ultimate end customer, but the GoDaddy customer interacts with you and sets up a marketplace. Is this a housewife selling jams? Is this a medical clinic, a medical supplier selling, I don't know, CPAP equipment online? I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you see?
yeah, no, we're seeing all sorts of interesting activity, and one of the things that's been really interesting, is one, whether it's someone who's already been selling on marketplaces and then is coming to GoDaddy to build their own branded store,
Okay.
or whether someone is starting with their branded website and then extending to marketplaces. So we're seeing dynamics on both sides of that, and then given the breadth of marketplaces that we're now connecting to, we're seeing all sorts of different categories of sellers. So a few examples off the top of my head are we're seeing lots of fashion sellers who are selling on both places like Amazon and eBay. We're seeing automotive parts sellers
I could
selling
see that. Yep.
on places like Amazon. We're seeing people who are makers who are selling on Etsy. There's a neat business that makes custom camera straps, for example, that's selling on Etsy. We're seeing people who are selling things like children's books on Amazon and on GoDaddy as well. So it's a really cool to see the range of uh, of how people are making their own way between
Yep.
GoDaddy and marketplaces.
No, good stuff. Well, I sure appreciate you giving us a GoDaddy update. And I'll tell you why. So SMB Nation, yes, we speak to the small and medium business sector, if you will, but uh, our audience is primarily partners, resellers, managed services providers that then serve small businesses themselves. So our community is more of a channel or intermediary, but what I've been encouraging to do is be aware of things like marketplaces because, the technology spin has really obviously changed from the server in the closet of yesteryear needing patching
Yeah,
to
yeah,
cloud, and I really think our guys need to hear conversations like we're having to just elevate their game, right? That it's both a technology play and it's a business model play. And at the end of the day, I think it's relevancy, right? How do our guys stay relevant?
yeah. Well, along those lines, and I think beyond relevant, really providing a capability that lots of e-commerce users are highly interested in, is where this comes into play. And one thing that you'll see us doing, and is the case with Sellbrite, is they will continue to grow their presence across the e-commerce ecosystem. And so what that means, for some of the folks who may be listening to this, if you're great, absolutely, if you're building sites on GoCentral Online Store, now Marketplaces is built into that, and we've got the best built-in capability. And at the same time, you can continue to find and use the Sellbrite app on the Shopify App Store and places like BigCommerce. And it also does have an integration path with the likes of WooCommerce. So we see overall marketplaces as filling the need for our customers of wanting to sell where it matters, as in where there are loads of consumers, and we're looking forward to bringing that utility across the small business ecosystem.
Last question, and you may not know the answer because I don't know the answer, and I don't fault you if you don't know the answer. But back in the 2000s, early 2000s, as part of some other work I was doing on the server side, I got involved in what ultimately was probably a concept ahead of its time. It was Microsoft B Central, Microsoft B Central,
Uh,
and I haven't heard that name in years. But they were essentially they had some behaviors of a marketplace in 2000, 2001, 2002. Again, probably ahead of their time. But I guess my question is, first of all, I'm not off to go on Wikipedia and find out the fate of B Central. But number two, I don't think Microsoft plays in this game. That's really my question is, I got Amazon, I got some of the other concepts, eBay, I got that down, but I really don't think Microsoft is playing in your reindeer game. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's fair from the perspective of, is Microsoft a shopping destination for consumer e-commerce? And I think it's fair to say that they haven't really stood up an initiative to do that.
Right.
So whereas obviously Amazon, their heritage largely lies in this, and eBay and Etsy and now Walmart.com and Jet are really
Yep.
focused on being consumer product marketplaces.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Greg, thanks for your time, and we'll check in with you again. Best of luck.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks a lot.
All righty.